Thank you, Dr. Unnikrishnan sir, for nicely and crisply explaining how to screen the complications in a setting. The second session is by Dr. K. Shrikant, how running a successful diabetes clinic, and that is what we want a speaker to explain in brief language, how to follow basic guidelines to offer a better management for our diabetic patients. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Firstly, I would like to thank Dr. Unnikrishnan for selecting such a different topic rather than the conventional this thing. So I would like to go to the details. Though as somehow diabetic science is taking different routes, which is what is standard today is becoming obsolete now, and it is rapidly evolving. And it's going to be the next generation science. And India is not prepared for this kind of rapid shifts in knowledge and ability to treat and this thing. Though we have so much of diabetic population, somehow our Indian Medical Council did not realize this and not integrated a lot of standards with respect to diabetes medical standards into diabetes management in the medical colleges, because of which none of the medical institutions are perfect. Even the national institutions are far from ideal with respect to some of the diabetic complications compared with the ideal environment described in the textbook. For example, though we got trained in national institutions, if I wanted to suspect some MODY mutations or something, obviously, because of the lack of genetic lab, I won't be able to do it. So none of the institutions are providing diabetes management training also alike. So all the doctors practicing comes from different backgrounds, different medical colleges with different infrastructure. This thing, the time when we were doing medical training MBBS, we were not even having A1C and only fasting people, that too after next day morning they used to come. Because of these infrastructural these things, there is a variability, faculty, focus, core values, training curriculum. None of us are perfect academically, and even because of though you are from an institution with best possible education, but you end up landing at a place where your infrastructure is not supportive of you. What you have learned in an institution could not be practiced in a place where you wanted to settle down. So because of these things, whatever may be the degree that you hold, obviously we are not immune to having imperfections. So once you come to a non-academic professional environment, that is into private practice or whatever, you have more challenges in private practice, corporate world, or other academic institutions. These challenges could be multifold, not necessarily academic related or knowledge related. It could be infrastructure related, it could be human resource related, or you may be lacking finances to set up your own clinic because you hail from a small family. Maybe you are academically intelligent, very highly intelligent, but you are not supported from other perspectives. And lack of interest in corporate people. There is a difference, because corporate people means their bottom line is different. They wanted to earn more out of that. So obviously diabetic departments won't earn the way cardiologists or other super specialty departments are going to earn for them. So all these issues are making you even more imperfect by another 10 to 30%. So making us emotionally upset. You are knowing a lot of knowledge, but you are unable to use in the real pragmatic, practical way, the way it is supposed to be used. This is definitely a gap, huge gap exists between what you know and what you could deliver to your particular patient. Though your intention may be there, but your ability to translate that into clinical practice is definitely a huge gap. So why this guidance? That is, I appreciate Dr. Unni for taking up this kind of topic. Not everybody has an opportunity to settle in an institution and corporate hospital to execute what they have learned and then execute. B-class and C-class cities lack ecosystem to take care of diabetic patients. Metro cities, which are expanding, has huge professional opportunities, but no ecosystems. The reason is the time when I went back to my own place, where it is in Guntur, none of the diabetologists or maybe physicians, there are no endocrinologists to start with. So we're doing any A1C or any microalbumin assessment, and for 5 years, 10 years together. Surprisingly, I didn't understand, and I tried to do for the first time myself to my patients. none of the labs are doing any A1C and thyroid testing and all those things. And I had a feeling that whether I should stay here as an endocrinologist or I should start practicing diabetes with fasting PPs and then compromise myself after getting so much of training from All India Institute or SDPGA. And the knowledge or training there in your mind, but if you are not executing it, it is almost equal to not having knowledge and not having experience also. So to change that, we had a different journey. I would like to share some of the insights from my journey, and I'm translating into diabetic practice, but what we did it is a good endocrine setups. In excellent in diabetic patient care, you need to have a good physician or an endocrinologist or anybody, be it a diabetologist or be it a MBBS doctor who has an intention to help diabetic patients in achieving their goals, is the must. That is the cornerstone of any ideal diabetic clinic or maybe a setup. And you may have ancillary requirements like a food surgeon, dietitian team, diabetes laboratory, ophthalmology setup, complication screening setup, not necessarily management setup, but a screening just to triage the patients who are at higher risk and needs to be sending appropriately or manage appropriately. And a diabetic pharmacy, hospital, and OT facility and whatever. And you can, as a feather in the crown, you can also do clinical trials like way and epidemiological studies and genetic laboratories, research, diabetic complication management, like the way Dr. Unni said, cath lab and in-house cardiologist, in-house everything. So all these things definitely are needed for ideal setup. So you don't have to. Nobody can start ideal setup. In India, obviously, if you have ideal setup, that is a surprise. But if you have a decent setup, that is the normal thing. So, but it is not a prevention for you to from basic setup to ideal setup. It is a slow journey, and diabetic physician is a cornerstone. Theoretical diabetes management principles and practical aspects are totally different. If you feel your current knowledge is inadequate, obviously you are doing these things, attending conferences, read literature continuously, patient-based reading. There and then when the patient, you see a rare patient where you feel that you have blind spot, you take out some time and read about that. That's a realistic learning, and this you will have to do for the rest of your life. Diabetes science is ever evolving, never stop learning. The best example is 10, 15 years back, what we used to write for diabetes, almost 80% of the prescriptions have changed. So if you sit with the old knowledge that you gained at some point of time, it's not going to for you this thing. And it is not only for anybody, maybe diabetes or physician or endocrinologist or any for that matter super specialties, everybody needs to continuously learn for the rest of your life, even up to 70 years if you are still practicing. So if you feel your current experience is inadequate, theoretical knowledge cannot be translated directly into practical this thing. So it is better that you work in an established setup in a resident or a fellow, even for a less salary. There, the learning is important. If you are a young generation, obvious, try more time during that time. Consider that don't miss out if you have not got an MD or a DM. Try that it is your DM experience or maybe MD experience, and then try it as maximum possible to learn from that. Doesn't have to go through a structured program of MCA to get maximum knowledge. Sometimes you may come out with an MD with less knowledge, and sometimes you work in a best people like Dr. Unni or any other good setup without a degree also, if you may have very high knowledge. So that is degree doesn't give you immunity to anything. So that is the reason why experience is important, not finances, when you feel you are inadequate, and work in diabetic setup which are similar to your future settlement. So for example, you work in All India Institute and endocrine department and you go to a small place with 1 lakh or 2 lakh population, obviously that is not going to match. If you want to become better in your particular area, select a place where it is giving decent delivery of care, similar kind of crowd of patients and similar kind of setup. So that is going to be definitely useful. Once you are ready, establish the setup. You may have an opportunity to settle in a good place like Apollo Sugar Clinic or similar kind of clinics which are coming, or corporate hospital with a diabetes department, patient management with chronic care principles. You just don't have to focus about setting up a setup. There, identify what is not there in your existing or wherever you wanted to start your work and check out all of them and try to improvise the diabetes control, what is existing till that day in that particular hospital, with a good chronic care principles like good follow-upping of the patient, winning the trust of the patient, good diabetes control, and improve your setup with higher standards with the help of hospital management, discuss with them, buy whatever. You don't have to tell that you are going to earn a lot of money, but you can obviously convince a good people with about holistic diabetes care. So a good complication screening program, obviously definitely going to pick up that advanced cases much early. Obviously it is going to be beneficial for the hospital. Learn to communicate with them the way they understand, and also get what you want to improvise your care. This is a very important way of communication, because they are usually finance oriented, and you also have to be smart enough to talk with in both the ways. You have to, when you are having with the patient, you just think that way. If you start your own setup, plan well, start small, evolve the setup as patients are increasing. Don't start with huge setups, because you will start becoming, you lose your professional caliber, you'll start as a businessman and you start difference. So that is the reason why always start a small setup. The most important thing you need to have is an OPD chamber where consultation and diet provide. As Dr. Unni said, a patient hears to you from diet and every advice they want you to tell. You can just brief and ask further this thing with respect to your dietitians, nutrition, exercise specialist, or whoever is in your setup, and have a decent reception and a good sample collection. You don't need to have advanced lab to start with. You just can have a sample collection. A good phlebotomist is sufficient to start, and have a good tie-up with an NABL accredited laboratory locally, and also start a small pharmacy, because if you want to hire 4, 5 or 10 staff members, you need to meet up your needs of paying salaries, rents and rent, everything. So it is better to have revenue generation. Only consultation may not be sufficient. Sufficient till you reach this kind of setup will be sufficient. Even I started my setup like this only. I didn't have anything except a consultation chamber and 4, 5 staff members. Refer to other specialists wherever needed. This is a very important insight, because if you are starting as a diabetes, start this thing, and whenever you find some advanced disease, cardiac disease, renal disease, or this thing, refer appropriate to the specialist regularly, because they are going to refer back all the patients, whoever they pick up, to you only. That's a kind of genuine referral system you will establish. So once you do that, it is going to be a win-win for both of you. Advanced cases you are pushing to them, and basic cases which they don't, a cardiologist or a nephrologist picks up some new diabetic patient, they don't want to manage the diabetes part of it, because they are too busy managing their own heart failures. Obviously they refer. So take care of your patients and your setup by yourself. Many people depend too much of managers, but in the initial phases it is better that you learn every small aspect. When it is small, it is manageable. And also do not be patient-centric. As ADA, every guideline now has become patient-centric rather than guideline-centric, and be rightful, because they are just guidelines. So ultimately, do not modulate the guidelines for every patient. You don't have to do all the complication screening at once. If the patient is having very low risk, even if you can do the complication screening once in 2 years also, it is fine. And if the patient cannot afford do a A1C once in 4 months or 6 months also, it is fine. Be appropriate to the patient and be appropriate to patient's pocket. It is one of the most trust-building exercise in your clinic. Once you feel or give a confidence to the patient that this patient understands me and my finances, that is going to be the trust. And if they can't pay, they don't feel this thing. They have some guilt also. And they refer so many patients to you that either itna acha hota hai, and this doctor understands me. He deals you not only diabetes point of view, but holistically. He understands my finances, he understands everything. So that kind of winning trust is something which is making you successful. A successful diabetic patient clinic doesn't mean that the doctor is a very successful or very highly knowledgeable one, is this thing, but the success is given to you by your patient, because you are delivering the way it has to be delivered for their outcomes or for their needs. Fill your OPD with your appropriate patient. If you have a small setup, it is better that you fill your OPD with the patient which you can handle. So filling your patients who are at very high risk of DKA, very high risk of complications, very high risk of frequent complications, it is better to refer, because your setup cannot handle. Obviously, when you have negativity, it is going to be this thing. Referring to anybody is is a very important thing, because in my area, there is used to be initially some diabetologists, they used to have a lot of insecurity kind of thing. But once there is a good rapport happened with this thing, once they understood that is important, they immediately felt that appropriate cases, all type 1s, they refer to me only. So that is a good, genuine referral system. Add more staff members, develop dietitians, develop educators for insulin technique, hypoglycemia education, sick day rules, and if time permits, whenever you are free, develop videos whenever you have time and record them and show them as a special diabetic education. Improve your laboratory setup, small collection centers to start having small investigations like fasting, PP, A1C, microalbumin, creatinine, urine routine. Invest in automated equipment, point of care machines are semi-automated, but if you can invest, I feel automated equipment is better. Having a good laboratory technician with some good quality standards is very important. Take hospital management software to manage minimal management necessary, will decrease a lot of non-professional work. So as you become more advanced, develop all the paramedical support, develop associated partners, recruit all the associated team members, invest in advanced laboratory equipment like automated, fully automated, HPLC or immunotherapy but A1C, immunoassays if you have an endocrine setup, and senior biochemist if necessary. Improve the infrastructure and hospitality also as you numbers are picking up. So with this, I would just had the same kind of journey in my life also, but I just wanted to. You may think that the planning is very easy, it is just like a straight line and you can go just like a highway ride, but it's not going to be. In reality, you are going to face so many challenges. In any kind of challenge with respect to medical management or patient management, you can handle. But these kind of management challenges, management science is different. We are not MBAs, we are not hospital management experts. Obviously, you try to manage with your medical knowledge. Obviously, you fail in several of the managerial aspects. So, it is better that you constantly read some management literature, not business literature, management literature. Both are different. So, this is just a small, if you have time, I will just mention about how we had a journey. And this is we started only 2 small clinics, and one in Guntur and one in Vijayawada. We started with a small laboratory setup and then small endocrine pharmacy. Then since we started having not much of diabetes load in the beginning, so we started having a lot of thyroid load. Our OPDs used to be 50, 60% used to be thyroid. So we were having a lacuna of nuclear medicine. So we started a nuclear medicine gamma camera. Then we felt that our surgeon, we almost asked one of our surgeons to go and pursue endocrine surgery. He did MCH and endocrine surgery. After that, he came back. By the time he came back, both of us, both myself and another partner of ours, that is another endocrinologist, we built 2 tertiary care endocrine hospitals, one in Vijayawada and one in Guntur. Once the endocrine surgeon started having, then we taking to a new level. Then we made bariatric surgery and metabolic surgery also as a part of the hospital. And we also started high dose therapy for nuclear medicine for thyroid cancer therapies. And we also upgraded our laboratories to advanced immunoassay machines like E411, Centaur CP, Immolite, and chemistry C311 and all. And this is the latest machine that we are using, that is C6000. These things, the principles of doing tests is same. Whether you use a small setup, whether you use a robust setup, it is only improve the errors are minimized, speed is improvised. It can do 1,000 tests in an hour. If you have more patients, obviously you need a robust setup so that the results can be given faster. The turnaround time will be improved. At the end, today, after 14 years of practice, we ended up developing 2 tertiary care 50-bedded endocrine hospitals, one at Guntur, one at Vijayawada, and 2 full-time endocrinologists taking care of each facility, and 1 endocrine surgeon, 1 bariatric surgeon, 1 nuclear consultant, 1 laboratory endocrinologist with MD biochemistry, and 1 diabetic food surgeon, and 1 clinical research scientist. We do regular global clinical trials. And this is just a small 2-minute video of our setup, which is a 20,000 square feet place. Predominantly, diabetes clinic is going to be OPD based practice, having a bigger OPD space in the range of 2,000. If you're starting, it is 1,000 to 1,500 is sufficient. I started in 400 square feet, then made it to 1,000, then after 2,000, now we have 20,000 square feet. And journey, if it is done slowly and systematically, obviously it is effortless, no financial strain will be there. And stick to one place, that is most important inside. And once you start having flow of lot of patients, And even the softer things, subtle things, like clinical trials, research, advanced setups, all those things you can slowly, this is a never-ending story. And in spite of doing a good amount of work in endocrinology, we feel still that we are maybe 50–60% of what we are still capable of achieving. This is a complication screening floor where we have 4 cleaning setups for complications, and fundus camera, everything whatever Dr. Undi has said. We have, this is the clinical trial department. We have actively 5–6 clinical trials going on. Our global clinical trials like outcome trials, long-term retinopathy, neuropathy trials also. GLP-1 analogs we are doing. And this is echo, ECG, and ultrasound. For thyroid ultrasound, we do our own thyroid ultrasound, and guided FNACs also we do in-house, and report also this thing. And this is a staff education, which is one of the very important aspect. You should not continuously none of your staff members are trained for hospital, particularly receptionists. They don't even know what kind of diseases you are going to treat. So once upon a time, one patient came with a parathyroid adenoma with some bone-related complaint, and our doctor doesn't see all those diseases. He sees only thyroid and diabetes, and made the patient go away. So, but after coming to me, they said the same story because they come back again. So it is always important that you train your staff to the patient's expectations, and it is your job that you have to train them with empathy. Empathy means understanding patients. I trained frequent sessions with our patient staff, so that whether the patient talks to me or whether the patient talks to our one of the employee, they should feel the same kind of caredness, and that is what is going to be. It should be a overall organizational phenomenon. It is totally, and one more thing I will tell you, I could not, for 5 years I was missing our institutions, that is RNA Institute and SGPGI, where I got trained, and none of the infrastructure is there in a local place. But when we were trying to deal ourselves, 5 years we got so much frustrated that we are not able to manage. Then everybody is saying that you have done unnecessarily all those things. But all the problems were not because we can't handle them, just because we were doing those things with the wrong paradigms. So we were not trained management people, so we don't know for many of the challenges that you are going to get when you are setting up and developing your setup, they're all managerial. Try to read some management books rather than medical books. These lectures and this academic knowledge, if you come to this thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
This take-home message, just successfully manage diabetes, understand your patient professional and non-professional needs. I just wanted to say that do what is right and just wait. Don't have targets the way we had in our academic life, and completely different. Never leave the balance in life. Being consumed in the development of clinic, and don't leave the balance in life. That is also one of the problems.
Sure,
Thank
sir.
you.
I'm sure the points which you mentioned will help us improvise in our practice.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.